Hey guys, okay, so we're gonna see what's happening on Runaway Ralph today. Yesterday, let's see, Ralph avoided the gopher and the dog got away from the dog. And when we left our hero, he had gotten caught by Garf, the friend that he had actually met or had seen at the Valley Inn, the Valley View Inn. And so they said they were gonna try and go see if they could find a cage for him. So let's see what happens. Ralph was disappointed. He had looked forward to a dark and crummy pocket. At the same time, he was anxious because remember, he was hoping that the boy would put him in his pocket because he thought there would probably be crumbs there. If he was trapped in a cage, how could he get back to his motorcycle? The screen door creaked as it was opened, and Ralph found himself looking through the net at a room with long work tables and walls lined with shelves full of boxes, jars, and odds and ends. Seated on the bench were three girls who were busy braiding with long, thin strips of colored plastic. They appeared to ignore the boy until the woman rummaged around, that means she kind of looked and looked and looked, on the shelves and produced a small wire cage with an exercise wheel inside and a bottle for water. Suddenly, the girls were interested. Wonder why they had a cage with an exercise wheel and a bottle of water. "What's the cage for, Aunt Jill?" one of them asked, and all three of them jumped up from the bench. "Garf caught a mouse in his butterfly net," explained Aunt Jill. "He wants to keep it." "In a butterfly net?" The girls found this feat funny. Let's see, they begged. Ralph found himself being poked out of the net and into the cage. The door was closed behind him and fastened. He scurried behind the exercise wheel where he sat trembling, partly from fright and partly from relief at being safe from the cat. "Isn't he darling?" cried the girls, their faces large and close to the cage bars. "Isn't he sweet? Look at those teeny tiny ears and that itsy bitsy paws." Ralph looked for help toward the boy, who had stepped aside and now stood scowling beside the screen door. "Aunt Jill, can we feed the mouse, please? May we?" Ralph turned his back and curled up into the smallest position possible. "The mouse belongs to Garfield," said Aunt Jill. "He gets to feed his own mouse." "Skip it." Ralph thought Garf sounded angry. He heard the boy's footsteps leave the craft shop and the screen door screech and slam as it opened and closed. "What's the matter with him?" asked one of the girls, who sounded as if she didn't really care. "Girls, do you know what I think we should do?" asked Aunt Jill. "I think we should all help Garf enjoy camp. This is his first time away from home, and he doesn't know anyone here. I think he's lonely." "But he's mean," protested the girls, but with the sunburned nose. "He just stays off by himself." "There's nothing mean about that," said Aunt Jill. "I know," admitted the girl, but I don't know. Anyway, Garf is a funny name." "Maybe he doesn't think so," said Aunt Jill. Ralph could feel one of the girls trying to poke her finger through the bars of the cage. "At meals, he won't talk or sing. He just eats and gets up and walks out." Ralph tried to draw himself into a tighter ball. "See, he's just standing outside there," said another girl. "He practically never talks to anyone." Aunt Jill lifted Ralph's cage up onto a shelf in the corner near the window. "Catching a mouse in a butterfly net is certainly doing something," she remarked. "I think Garf should take care of the mouse." Ralph made up his mind not to budge. If he stayed perfectly still, sooner or later they would all go away and let him enjoy his peace and quiet in his nice, safe cage. Then maybe Garf would come back. He might even think about bringing a corner of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Then Ralph would simply explain to Garf that he needed to get out of that cage because he had to take care of his motorcycle. He was sure Garf would understand, for he looked like the kind of boy who was interested in speed and motorcycles and who would know how to make a miniature motorcycle go. All right, so that's the end of that chapter. Chapter 4 is called Chum. We'll start with it tomorrow and see what's going to happen. I wonder if Garf will be a friend to Ralph or if he will kind of be like the girls poking at him and things like that. So I'm really hoping that maybe this is a good thing for both him and Garf because it sounds like Garf's not so happy to be at camp right now. All right, have a great evening. I hope you got all of your NTI work done today and were able to go outside even though it's a little cool. At least it's pretty. Have a good evening and I'll see you in the morning.